Midnight Tales. Featuring the Midnight Philosopher and Arachne. The Midnight Philosopher, the class of 76. And in conclusion, we see that it is impossible to determine how much of Plato is Socrates and how much is Plato. Thank you. The dude may be an oddball, but he's a brilliant oddball. Uncle Cyrus, don't forget that you promised the dean you'd give the orientation lecture to the incoming freshman class. I can't now, Arachne. According to my appointment book, I have to give the orientation lecture to the incoming freshman class. Oh, that's what you said, isn't it? I think I had better go with you, Uncle. I've never done this sort of thing before. What does one say to a group of high school senior types? Start with welcome. Yes, of course. Excellent idea. Then I'll show them the archaeology building. Wonderful place. Here comes the bus. Welcome to Xavier University. I'm Professor Coffin. Please follow me. Not a very healthy-looking lot, are they? This is our Egyptian room. Many of these artifacts were gathered by my niece and myself. This is interesting, Professor. That, my good man, was rediscovered by us. There's a strange story behind its original discoverers. Douglas and Judith Todd wanted very much to become rich. Not an uncommon desire. If they had chosen any other profession but archaeology, whom it may concern. This is Kututman's tomb, but the sarcophagi are empty. Kututman was a powerful man in life, but he knew that in death he would be helpless against grave robbers. He therefore had a secret tomb constructed. Unfortunately, when he died, no one knew where the secret tomb was, so he and his wife were buried elsewhere. Then this is that secret tomb, Fred? Quite correct, Douglas. This isn't much of a find without mummies, unless we sell these statues. No. We must report our findings to the Egyptian government. Don't be absurd, Fred. This statue alone is worth hundreds. That statue was supposed to hold the pharaoh's spirit until he was ready to enter the next world. Oh! Now it can hold yours. I had to do that, Judith. It's all right, dear. The stuffy old coot deserved it. The treasure is all ours now, darling. Fill the sacks with as much as we can carry. Freddie had no family, so no one will miss him. We've gotten away with his murder. In a tiny village a few hours away. Professor, Mrs. Todd, you appear to have done well. Perhaps you have something for folk? As a matter of fact, we do. Is your shop open? For two of my favorite Americans, it is always open. Come. Beautiful. Magnificent. You must tell me how you and Mr. Say, where is your partner? Never mind. Just give us our money and we'll go.
What shall we do with our money, darling?
New house, cars, maybe even a yacht. Hey, what's that?
Look at the depth of these footprints.
Whoever made them must weigh close to a ton.
That came from Fawkes.
Good Lord, he's dead, and the treasure is gone.
Douglas, something moved behind that curtain.
All right, come out of there. I have a gun. Oh no.
Doug, stop it. It's just a statue.
But it's from the tomb.
It can't be the same one. Come on. We've got to get out of here before the police arrive.
I tell you, it's the spirit of Fred. He's come back to wreak revenge.
Stop talking that way. A thief broke into Fawkes' shop. That's all. The police won't be able to connect us with Fawkes or the treasure. And we still have the money.
Judith, our sheets are torn to shreds. Who could have done that? And why?
Doug, there's someone here.
The statue! Years later, Arachne and I rediscovered the site.
King Kututman's tomb. Without a doubt. Perhaps we shall find a clue to the disappearance of the Todds in there. Uncle Cyrus, didn't you say that the mummy cases would be empty?
Yes, the pharaoh and his wife are in the National Museum.
Then who are they?
Midnight Philosopher continued. Needless to say, the two, mummies were removed. Not to a museum, but to a police morgue.
Wasn't that a frightening tale, Arachne? I thought so. Then how come they didn't react? Why don't you try another room on them? If you'll come this way, students, I'll be pleased to show you the Nathan Mann room. Here we have relics from the dawn of man. Excuse me, Professor, but is this an example of Cro-Magnon man? No, that is a bust of Mr. Nathan Mann. Never is a long time. Nathan Mann was probably the ugliest man alive, but he was a man, and eventually a man needs a wife. I'm truly sorry, Mr. Man, but no woman will go out with you. I know you're a nice person, but...
One look at my face, and they run for help. I understand, Mrs. Canby. Thank you.
Mrs. Canby, none of these applicants are acceptable. I'll be with you in a moment, Miss King. Him, that's the man I want. You want to marry Mr. Man?
You're too beautiful a woman to want a man like me.
You're what I want. I have my reasons. Surely you aren't going to refuse me?
I won't refuse you. Be certain of that.
The wedding was small, and it was kept out of the society pages even though the lovely young bride was an heiress to a multi-million-dollar fortune. Little was said about the groom, except that he permitted no pictures to be taken. They honeymooned in Miami at the most expensive room in the most expensive hotel in the state. Are you happy, Nathan?
I most certainly am, Diane.
Good. Because now I want a divorce.
I knew there'd be a catch. Would you like to tell me why?
My late stepfather disapproved of my handsome boyfriends. He was a horror himself. Therefore, he willed me $8 million if I would marry the ugliest man alive. I'll give you $1 million for a divorce.
I am wealthy myself. I have no desire to increase my fortune.
You must give me a divorce. I could never love you.
Well, never is a long time. Excuse me. I have to get some cigars downstairs.
It's what I was afraid of, Wilson. He won't let me go. Prepare the house for the soon-to-be departed husband. The honeymoon in Miami was cut short by the gentle young bride who insisted that it be continued at her palatial home. Nathan agreed because, among other things, he was a patient man.
You have a very fine home, my dear. It is even larger than my own house.
Good afternoon, Wilson.
Many congratulations to you both. I prepared some champagne to celebrate. No, thank you, Wilson. I'm allergic to champagne.
His glass was poisoned, wasn't it?
Of course, madame. Arsenic, just as you had instructed.
Darling, I've had a workshop put in the basement for you. You told me how you like to build things.
Building has always been in my blood. Let's go see your wedding present.
Be careful of the... Nathan! He can't survive that fall.
Well, that's the first thing I'm going to have to fix.
You're not hurt?
Not at all, sweetheart. I know the proper way to fall. Now, let me look at these magnificent tools.
Drat! Darling, why don't we have dinner on the balcony tonight? It's a warm evening with a full moon.
That's a very good idea. That evening, on the roof above the two dining newlyweds, the madame said that exactly at midnight she would find an excuse to leave the balcony, and that's when I should drop the statue. It's nearly midnight. So long, Mr. Man. Did you call me, Wilson?
Nathan, Wilson just fell from the roof.
Yes, I know, Diane. I startled him.
You were up on the roof.
Don't act so surprised. I've had many wives try to murder me. Years ago, quite by accident, I drank a liquid that stopped my aging process. You see, darling, I do not merely look like a Neanderthal man. I am a Neanderthal man. I have given you that liquid. You too will live forever with me. I truly love you, Diane.
Oh, no. Do you have any other surprises?
Just one more. My folks will be living with us. Mother, father, meet my bride.
Midnight Philosopher continued. I don't seem to be a very successful off-the-cuff speaker. Is there any place you all would like to see?
Oh, we understand that poet Richard Sherrick is buried here. May we see his grave?
Of course. Most of our visitors end up at the graveyard. In fact, eventually we all do. I wish you hadn't said that. Now, keep together. Several of these graves are hundreds of years old. Ah, the stories they could tell.
I was created. That is, I was dug almost 100 years ago. And then, very soon afterwards, my body, I hate to say corpse, was taken from me by body snatchers. I never even had the chance to get to know her. This is my story. It is truly a grave story. They found me empty the next day, but in those times there were plenty of graves, so they filled me in and forgot me. Years passed, the ivy and the dust covered me, and so they assumed I was a full old grave. Someday they will check their records. Someday. 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 Late one evening, a man carrying a sack crept into the yard. I suspected he was a body snatcher, and I thought, what a joke on him if he had come to snatch my body. But he was just the opposite. He had come to bury a body. While he dug, I took a close look at the body, which had obviously been murdered. Never had I seen so lovely a creature. I would have been proud to accept her body, but more than pride, I despised the fiend who had done this to her. I plan to take revenge. We graves have feelings.
That should be deep enough. What? David, how could that happen? I did it. Rats, I'll have to dig it again. Well, nothing's too good for my dear, rich stepdaughter. This ground should be soft, but it's as hard as a rock. I'll have to dig elsewhere. No, he mustn't escape. The stone! My leg! It's caught! It's caught! Where's the shovel? I must get free!
In the morning, the police took away the man, and they also removed the girl. They called her Suzanne.
I was after her money. I married her mother for it.
And you say that the grave fooled you. Sorry, Mac, but you're not getting away with an insanity plea on this one. After a while, the red lights vanished and the siren screamed away into the living world. And once again, I was alone. I saw the old man coming, but I hardly paid attention to him. My thoughts were on Suzanne.
Hello, Martha. It's me again. I miss you so much that I want to be with you, but I haven't the courage to kill myself.
He wanted to die. He actually wanted to die. Fool.
Soon I will find the courage to join you.
So you want to join her? Very well. You shall join her.
This ground is awfully soft. Help me! Someone help me! I'm sinking!
Why are you screaming for help? Isn't this what you wanted?
Grandfather, take my hand.
I knew I would find you here. Are you all right?
Yeah, I guess the rain yesterday made the ground soft.
Listen, Grandfather, Dory and I bought a house and we want you to live with us.
You don't want a useless old man like me.
You don't understand. It's a farm. I want you to help me run it.
A farm, eh? Well, let's go. It's got to be better than the grave.
Some stories end happily here, but mostly here is where all stories just end. It's beginning to rain. There must be a funeral procession on the way.
So young. Why did it have to happen? Why?
They're there. Yes, I see them now. They'll pass me by. They always do. No. They're stopping here. They're going to give me a body at last. My lovely Suzanne. Mine forever. The end. The Midnight Philosopher continued. Shall we start back? We have some good food waiting for you at the cafeteria.
Good food? At our cafeteria? Hush, lass. The meal is on us. I hope you enjoyed your tour.
Professor Coffin, why didn't you meet the bus?
We did, Dean. We just gave a tour to the class of 76.
Why, the class of 76 was killed last year in a bus accident while they were on their way here.
Impossible. Well, the class of 76 finally made it to their orientation. Oh, Lord,